Everything you have been told about stubborn belly fat after 50 is a dangerous half-truth. It is not mainly a calorie problem. It is a failing metabolic signal. That tight waistband by evening. That heavy, swollen pressure around your middle after dinner. That hard, clenched feeling when you sit down. You are not just carrying extra weight. Your abdominal system is behaving like plumbing under pressure, and the release valve is starting to jam. What if that stubborn pouch is not your body storing more, but your body failing to unlock what it already stored? You hear the standard command. Eat less. Move more. Try harder. Yet many metabolic specialists keep pointing to a deeper mechanism: insulin resistance, inflammatory signaling, stress chemistry, and one signal that gets weaker with age: adiponectin. No celebrity miracle. No influencer shortcut. A clinical reframe. The body does not only store fat. It also needs instructions to release it. When that instruction fades, the midsection becomes a locked tank. Why does your waist feel larger by night even on days you did not overeat? Hold that question for a moment. Because in a moment, I will show you the under 10-minute morning system that matters more than punishing exercise for many people over 60. But first you need to see what is actually jamming that valve, because if the belly is not just a storage problem, then what exactly is jamming the body and APO's release valve? The villain is low adiponectin signaling. A hormone message. A release command. When it drops, your fat cells stop behaving like flexible storage tanks and start behaving like sealed drums. Insulin, the gatekeeper key, has to work harder. The liver, your chemical refinery, starts handling fuel with more friction. Inflammatory cytokines begin to leak from enlarged abdominal fat cells like hot exhaust from a cracked engine. Now the line backs up. Visceral fat does not sit there quietly. It wraps around organs like warm insulation soaked in sludge. It sends out signals that keep the fire burning. Look closer. Under the microscope, the fat cell swells. Its membrane stretches. Oxygen delivery worsens. Immune cells move in. They do not repair the site cleanly. They escalate it. They release more inflammatory sparks. Those sparks hit insulin signaling. Now glucose handling gets rougher. More insulin circulates. More storage pressure builds. The release valve sticks harder. This is not abstract chemistry. This is mechanical failure. A clogged line. A jammed switch. A system that is supposed to alternate between storing and releasing now stays trapped in storage mode. And then you feel it in ways numbers do not capture. Your pants tighten after dinner. Your lower back starts to tug. Your gut feels braced, almost armored. You stand up and there is that dull heaviness, that sense of carrying a load in front of you. This is where standard advice can feel incomplete. Eating less can reduce total intake. Walking more helps. Those matter. But if insulin resistance, inflammation, stress, and abdominal bracing are still active, you are pressing on the accelerator while the valve remains corroded shut. There is another trap. Not every belly is the same. Some of what you see is visceral fat. Some is bloating. Some is posture. Some is chronic abdominal gripping that tips the pelvis and pushes the lower abdomen forward like a shelf. That means many people chase the wrong fix. They starve themselves to reduce a shape partly created by pressure, gas, or alignment. They punish a system that is already overloaded. Metabolic specialists describe this pattern again and again. The biology of the waist is not only about how much enters the mouth. It is about where fuel goes, whether it can leave, and how much internal friction keeps the trunk under pressure. And one ingredient many people buy by accident can cancel the very protocol they think is helping. Once you see what is stuck, the real question becomes, what resets that valve first thing in the morning? The answer is not a pill. It is a morning system. Read that again. Not one miracle ingredient. A system. 2 tablespoons of whole psyllium husk. 1 teaspoon of ground flax seed. 10 ounces of warm water. Half a lemon. Then 5 minutes of deep transverse abdominal activation. Then 2 minutes of diaphragmatic breathing. Every morning before food. Wait 30 minutes before breakfast. Here is why it matters. Psyllium is soluble fiber. Think of it as an internal filter gel moving through the digestive line. It thickens, slows the rush, and changes how fuel is handled after the first meal. That steadier flow can support better blood sugar control instead of the sharp surge that keeps insulin high and the fat release valve stuck. Flax adds more fiber and lignans, compounds that may support a healthier inflammatory environment. The gut bacteria then ferment part of that fiber into short-chain fatty acids, chemical messengers that can act like maintenance signals for the metabolic engine. Not a fantasy. Not a cure-all. A support protocol for a system that has become loud, inflamed, and poorly calibrated. Then comes the second half, the part many people ignore. Deep transverse abdominal activation is not cosmetic flexing. It is structural recalibration. You draw in the lower abdomen as if tightening an internal corset without holding your breath. You keep the ribs stacked. You wake up the deep load-bearing wall of the trunk. That can reduce chronic outward pressure and improve abdominal support. Then diaphragmatic breathing changes the chemistry of the alarm system. Cortisol is the alarm that never stops. Slow belly breathing helps turn the siren down. Less stress chemistry. Less abdominal bracing. Less pressure in the tank. Preparation matters. Stir the psyllium and flax fast in the warm lemon water. Drink it immediately before it gels into a thick mass. Then do the activation and breathing right away. This stack matters more than any single part. Fiber alone is not the protocol. Breathing alone is not the protocol. Core work alone is not the protocol. The value is in the combination. A filter reset. A pressure reset. A signal reset. If you use medications, especially diabetes drugs or anything that must be absorbed at a precise time, give fiber a buffer because it can interfere with absorption. If swallowing is difficult, be careful with psyllium because thick fiber can be a choking hazard. If reflux is active, lemon or acidic drinks may irritate you. Adjust with caution. This is support, not permission to ignore medical care. The next layer is ginger, turmeric, and black pepper. 1 inch of fresh ginger. 1 inch of fresh turmeric. 1/4 teaspoon of freshly cracked black pepper. Blend with 4 ounces of warm water in the morning. Gingerol, curcumin, piperine. Think of them as friction reducers for a system running hot. Inflammation is a smoldering fire. These compounds may help lower some of that heat. Lower heat can mean less metabolic drag. But again, not a miracle. A support tool. If blood thinners are involved, be cautious. Spices this active are not neutral for everyone. Then comes diluted apple cider vinegar with Ceylon cinnamon before the largest meal. 1 tablespoon of raw unfiltered vinegar. 1/4 teaspoon of Ceylon cinnamon. 8 ounces of warm water. About 20 minutes before eating if tolerated. Acetic acid can help blunt the meal-driven surge in blood sugar for some people. That matters because every sharp rise is another push against the gatekeeper key, insulin. Repeated spikes keep the release valve sticky. But if you have reflux, gastritis, dental sensitivity, or ulcers, this can backfire. Never drink vinegar straight. And use Ceylon cinnamon, not cassia, because cassia carries more coumarin and can be hard on the liver in higher use. A strong unsweetened tea with fresh citrus is another useful layer. Green tea is the classic example because of its polyphenol, but if that is not what you drink locally, use an unsweetened local tea plus citrus where available. The logic is the same. Polyphenol. No sugar. No syrup. No honey. This is where many people sabotage themselves. They clear the pipes, then pour sticky residue back in. Honey or sugar in the tea. Flavored psyllium loaded with maltodextrin or sweeteners. Psyllium taken with meals instead of before breakfast. These small errors matter because they add friction to the exact system you are trying to quiet. Fiber support for blood sugar control appears again and again in metabolic research. Not one dramatic headline. Repeated signals across different studies and reviews. That does not mean overnight visceral fat erasure. It means you are working on the biology that decides whether the abdomen stays locked or starts to soften its grip. There is one more distinction you need to keep. Some happen from actual fat loss. Do not confuse them. If your belly looks flatter in days, that may be pressure and gas improving first. Good. Take it. That is still useful. The 30-second pelvic tilt reset can help expose that difference. Squeeze the glutes. Tuck the tailbone. Brace the core. 10 times a day. This does not melt visceral fat. It corrects a structural push that makes the abdomen protrude. Different problem. Different tool. If you know which one you are dealing with, you stop chasing the wrong outcome. Some people ask about berberine and magnesium. Berberine is a supplement, not a kitchen equivalent, and it can interact with medications. Magnesium glycinate may support sleep and calm the alarm system in some people. Those can have a place. But the foundation is still the morning system. Cheap. Concrete. Repeatable. Not glamorous. Effective because it targets both sides of the problem, the metabolic side and the pressure side. And when that pressure finally starts to lift, the first sign is not the scale. It is something you feel in your clothes. After a week or two of consistency, you may notice the evening squeeze is not as aggressive. The belly does not feel as hard after meals. The lower back is not tugging with the same constant tightness. You stand taller. Your abdomen feels less like an overpacked bag and more like a structure you can control. Which goal matters more to you now, a smaller number on the scale, or waking up without that trapped, swollen feeling that follows you from breakfast to bedtime? Because those are not always the same journey. And after 60, the body responds better to calibration than punishment. The old belief says force your body thinner. The better reframe says remove the blockade. Reduce the friction. Reset the valve. Let the system do what it was designed to do. Your body is not broken machinery. It is stressed machinery. There is a difference. The waistband that digs in at night is not just a cosmetic insult. It is feedback. A signal. A report from a system under pressure. And when that waistband starts to loosen, even before dramatic weight change, that is the callback your body gives you. Less swelling. Less bracing. Less internal traffic jam. Consistency matters more than intensity. Not heroic effort. Daily maintenance. Morning by morning. Glass by glass. Breath by breath. If you want the next hidden blocker, look at what happens after sunset, because one common evening habit keeps insulin elevated while you sleep and can reverse the morning work you just learned. It is sitting in kitchens everywhere. And if you still feel that nightly squeeze, your abdomen is already telling you it wants that next answer.